Little Debbie oatmeal cream pies hit grocery stores back in the 1960s, but its precursor came a few decades earlier. Author Doris McGee was a baked goods salesman, and he took some harder oatmeal cookies, changed the recipe to make them soft, and then used them to sandwich cream. Author Doris, who was also known as OD, later on started his own company to sell those cream pies, and he used his granddaughter, who was 4 at the time, named Debbie, as the face and the name of the company. Well, that history stops today. We're starting a brand new page. We've got little Christy here. She's going to make her own version of oatmeal cream pies. It's going to knock our socks off.
There's a lot of nostalgia around this cookie, but that's not the only reason to make it. This has really deep oatmeal molasses flavor, and then we've got the soft, fluffy filling. It's not just can we make this cookie, but we should make this cookie at home.
We need to make this cookie.
We're going to make this cookie.
Okay.
We're starting with some oats. So the texture of Little Debbie's is unique in that we don't see big pieces of oats because they're ground up. So I have 3 cups or 9 ounces of old-fashioned rolled oats. I'm gonna add these to my food processor. Now you don't wanna use extra thick or thick rolled oats because you'll get a really tough cookie.
Okay.
Now the secret ingredient to getting that chewy texture, you ready? Don't tell. Raisin paste, right?
Oh, okay.
You get that chewy, kind of caramelly texture, but no actual pieces of raisins. So this is 1/2 cup or 3 ounces of raisins. And we're going to process these for about a minute until it gets nice and finely ground.
Okay.
Oats are nice and fine. I don't see any raisins.
What raisins?
Exactly. Moving on to our dry ingredients, I have a cup of all-purpose flour. I'm gonna add a teaspoon of table salt and 3/4 of a teaspoon of baking soda. It's going to help us get that crackly texture that those cookies are really known for. Okay, so dry is good. Let's move on to wet ingredients. I have 1/2 cup or 3.5 ounces of granulated sugar. And now we have some brown sugar too. This is actually dark brown sugar. This is 3/4 of a cup. Packed, or 5¼ ounces. And I have some molasses here. This is 2 teaspoons of molasses. We're using not just molasses, but also the dark brown sugar, which contains molasses,
Right.
to really double down on that flavor.
Right, so don't be tempted to use light brown sugar here.
No. Now, in addition to the sugars, I have 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, 4 tablespoons of unsalted melted butter, and then finally, can't have oatmeal cookies without a little cinnamon.
It's the law.
It's the law. So this is a 1/4 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. So we'll whisk this together. We want to get it as smooth as we can. So you may still have a few little lumpies in here, which is okay because as soon as we add the eggs, it'll smooth out. I have 1 large egg and 1 large yolk
Okay.
here that we're going to use. This is going to give us structure and lift and richness. And then a teaspoon of vanilla extract.
That looks good enough to eat on its own.
Okay, this is pretty good now. So we'll start to incorporate the dry ingredients in. So I'll add first my flour mixture. You just want to make sure that all of the dry bits are incorporated. We shouldn't see any dry flour. Okay, and finally, our oatmeal raisin mixture. This will get pretty stiff, so sometimes, you use your immaculately clean fingers. We just want to get this so that we don't see any dry bits and everything looks like it's evenly distributed.
That looks fantastic.
Now it's time to scoop. We're going to portion this into 24 portions. And these should be 1 1/3 ounces if we weigh them, which is really going to give you the most accurate, even cookie. Or you can use a scoop. A good 1½ tablespoon scoop is great. So I'm just going to keep portioning these until I have 24 portions.
All right.
Bridget, I finished portioning all 24 dough balls and put them on rimmed baking sheets that I lined with parchment paper. We're going to roll all of these dough balls into nice, even, round spheres.
Okay.
That's the first step.
Just
nice
kind of
and-
reshaping them.
Yes. But they're not going to stay spheres for long. Now we're going to press these.
All right.
So we want to press them into 2.5-inch wide, flatter cookies.
Okay.
You can use a dry measuring cup. It doesn't hurt if you grease it a little bit on the bottom.
Oh, right.
Just a little pro tip. Or you can press it with your hand.
Okay.
But we were looking for 2.5 inches.
Gotcha.
2.5.
Oof. All right, so
They're gonna be
flat.
pretty flat, but that's what we want. The baking soda is gonna get them to rise. Now, Bridget, because we want these to cook so evenly, we would only bake one of these sheets at a time in the oven. But we have 2 ovens.
How about that?
So I've heated both of them to 400 degrees with the rack in the middle position. And we'll bake these cookies until we start to see them crack around the edges. And that should take between 5 and 7 minutes.
Love what you're watching? Take your cooking to the next level with our Essential membership. Get instant access to thousands of recipes, tips, techniques, product reviews, and step-by-step videos. Our members app allows you to search by ingredient, set dietary preferences, and save your favorite recipes. For those looking to level up, our newest feature, ATK Classes, offers more in-depth instruction led by ATK experts so you can gain greater confidence in the kitchen. Start your free trial by visiting the App Store or going to americastestkitchen.com/YouTube today.
Smells great.
I've got a treat for you.
All right, I'll meet you over there.
Okay.
Wow.
Look at them. Now they should almost look a little underdone in the center. So you don't want to go too long. You can see that they're cracked on the outside. They've risen and fallen, and now we have fissures.
Yes.
We're going to keep them on the baking sheets and let them cool on the racks for about 5 minutes. Then I'll use a spatula to transfer them directly to the cooling racks, and we'll let them cool completely, and that'll take another 45 minutes. The cookies are done, they're cooled, they're waiting for us. Now we need to make the filling.
Okay.
Now we want a filling that's soft and fluffy, but it's firm enough that it's not going to squeeze out the sides when we go to take a bite.
Right.
So we're starting with marshmallow cream.
Love it.
It's the cooked sugar, it's the beaten egg whites, it's everything that a buttercream starts with, but we can cut out all of those tricky steps.
I love it.
And we found that the Fluff brand gave us the firmest texture. So I have 5 ounces or 1 1/4 cups of Fluff. I'm also adding 3/4 of a cup or 3 ounces of confectioner's sugar.
Helps with thickening just a little bit.
Right. And we could cut back a little bit with butter, again, to keep it from becoming too soft. So this is 6 tablespoons of unsalted butter that I've softened a bit.
Okay.
And now we want to add some flavor. So we have 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract and then 1/4 teaspoon of table salt. All right, so I'm going to process this for about 30 seconds until it gets nice and smooth. Just give it one scrape. It's really soft and fluffy, and it's very nice to work with. Okay, now I'm going to transfer this to a bowl just to make sure that any sugar that we didn't incorporate gets incorporated.
Okay.
You can taste it already, can't you? So you can see there's a few streaks of confectioner's sugar, so I'm just going to work those in.
Wow.
So I've flipped over half of our cookies. And if you could help, I'm going to scoop and you can start spreading.
Oh, great. Okay.
And then we'll sandwich.
Perfect.
Okay? So I'm using a scant tablespoon. Fill it, skim it. I love little offset spatulas. They are so handy. I love to use the offset spatula because you can kind of, just like you're frosting a cake, kind of start in the center and smush it out. And between the softness of the cookie and the stiffness of the frosting, it's not going to spread very much. So you can go just about to the edge. All right, I have a little extra, so I'm just gonna dab a bit more on some of these. I think we're ready to sandwich.
Yay.
Now this is very difficult. There's a real technique involved. I have picked up a cookie and I'm going to place it perfectly on the top of another cookie. That is all.
That is genius.
Even if you press on them, that filling's not really going anywhere.
Oh, these are adorable.
Aren't they so cute? Let's just clean up a little bit
Okay.
and then we can try them.
Great. These are very precious.
They're so cute and we did them together.
That was the best part.
I love it. Well, I think you should try.
All right.
Now, do I break? Do I bite?
I know.
Did you have a way to eat them?
I do think I broke them apart right in the center, no matter what. You could still do that.
Oh my goodness.
the molasses and the brown sugar, it created this really crackly top. And you know what I'm going to say? There's something else in there giving a little bit of sweetness.
I will take my raisins this way. If I don't see them and get the texture.
For full episodes of your favorite cooking shows, head over to ATK's Full Episodes channel on YouTube. You can stream complete seasons of America's Test Kitchen, Cook's Country, and more. See you there.